Good afternoon, everyone. I am here today and I'm not going to be alone. Usually we have Jenny sitting beside me. She is just too busy dyeing yarn today to come along. So I have Carol Feller, who's going to be joining me very shortly to, hello everyone. And Carol and me, we're going to talk about the official Woollinn Shawl. I am going to ask Carol to come along. Just to let you know, I'm going to be uploading this video. Obviously everybody who's watching here on the Instagram Live, you're going to be kept up to date. But if anybody joins later on, then they can have a look on YouTube, because we started a YouTube channel this week. And what I'll do is, if anybody has any questions, I will read them out. So I know everybody else can see it on the Instagram Live, but they won't be able to see it on YouTube when it gets uploaded. So Carol is going to, I hope she has the option there to ask to join in, and then we will be able to have a little chat with everybody. I'm just going to wait. Hope you're all having a really nice Saturday. We are going to talk a little bit about this. I'm sure if you've been following Carol's account or our account, you will have seen the pattern images that were taken about 2 weeks ago now. And you will have gotten your preview, but we're going to talk to you a little bit more about how the pattern came about. So Carol is going to join. Go live with Carol. Okay, let's see how this connection works. We're waiting for Carol. I feel like I'm on the Eurovision. There she is. How's it going?
I ran into a few technical difficulties because I realized that I thought I was being very smart putting in my microphone, but it means I can't hear you.
You were trying to lip read and that wasn't going to work. So.
Yeah, so I had to unplug that, and it meant that my request to join was a little delayed. So, but at least I hear you, which is good.
And we've all been getting on just fine while we were waiting. That's all good. How's your Saturday going?
Very good. The house is clean. Children are picked up, so I can, sit back and chat with you for a while.
Magical. We can get we can just get talking a little bit about some of the things that we've been working on in the background that we were able to announce this week. So I'm just going to do quick introductions, just because we've got a good few people on board now, and we have our special guest. So I'm Lisa. I'm one of the organisers of the Woollinn Festival of Yarn, that's going to be happening in 4 short weeks, very short weeks. And I am here today talking with Carol Feller, who is a famous Irish knitwear designer, who has published books worldwide, who has been on, who's a well-known Craftsy instructor as well. And you have, what am I going, 40,000 students, is that right?
No, it's 400,000.
400,000.
Yeah, a lot of them. The free short row class has a huge amount of people who are signed up to the class. So having a free class in Craftsy really kind of increases the viewership. And of course, one thing that I didn't have on my bio is the fact that it was you that got me started knitting again. Because even though I was knitting when I was a kid, I had stopped it for years, and it was after my youngest was born, and you opened the yarn shop, This Is Knit, over first, I think it was Blackpool, and you did the website. And I used to knit, and so I contacted you, and you probably do not remember, but you sent me a Debbie Bliss Baby Knits for Beginners, needles and yarn for a sweater, and I worked my way through the whole book, and that was kind of the start of the whole thing. So you started.
That book is really, it's actually really good, isn't it? Because it breaks down all the different techniques and it goes through all the stuff. God, it's been a popular one for a long time. I know I do remember, and I remember when your first pattern was published in Knitty. So yeah, we've been
a steep learning curve.
Oh, was it? Is it
well, I thought I was doing great, and then you realize when you get the edits back that there's all of these things that you had no clue how to do writing-wise, because you think going in, because you can knit something, that you know how to write a pattern, but that's another whole set of skills that takes a long time to develop. So I'm eventually getting there, but it's, it's a continual learning.
12 years later, I think you're doing okay. So as you can guess, yeah, myself and Carol have known each other for a good long time. We've been, I suppose, we've just seen both of our businesses grow, thankfully, over the last decade plus. We have worked together previously on things like the Irish Yarn Club. And then this year, because of the whole woolen venture, we parked the Irish Yarn Club. Well, a little bit because of that, a little bit for other reasons, for this year. And then I suppose that's one of the first questions, or one of the first things we were going to talk about, which was how the Bealtaine Shawl came about, and how we decided that there should be an official Woollinn Shawl, and that Carol should be the one to design it. So do you want to say a little bit about how that came about?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, we had been talking about the idea of it's nice, I think, to have some kind of a design or something that becomes a feature for for a show or something like that. Yeah. And so we of course then escalated and decided it's also a great idea to do a new yarn color for it.
I know, just to add in a little bit of extra.
Just because. But I mean, I think the two ended up going really well together, because like there's the range of colors I have in Nua they're quite specific. They're all very earthy, and it's and so the actual the color we ended up designing for the shawl, it's very much, it's a Lisa color, this is knit color, and also it's even a woolen color, because it's very, you can see here, it's quite similar, I think, to the lettering used in woolen. So it actually,
in the logo, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it made sense. The two went together. So I wanted to, like, because we kind of picked the color, and then I wanted a shawl that would go with it. And it's an interesting one, because the shawl is going to be in the brochure. Oh, here it is. It's going to be for the show. I wanted it something that wasn't too long, and it was fun to knit, so that if you started it at the show, you could actually, it's not too complicated, so you could potentially concentrate on it, and you know what you're doing. So that was kind of the idea for the type of shawl. Yeah.
If you're sitting down and trying to catch up with people and friends and stuff, you're
exactly
having the chats, but you can still memorize. Yeah, because definitely the lace repeat should be like a fairly easily memorized, like looking at the chart and everything. That's good. Yeah. But you've done sort of an unusual thing, because let me think about how you described it. It's called a bias vortex shape.
Yeah. Yeah.
A biased vortex. So that's
it sounds more complicated than it is.
Yeah. So what you've taken, let's say, simple enough stitch patterns, and then set them into this unusual shape, and then that kind of just brings everything just up a little notch, but without being without off-putting or anything. So it's just it's achieved by sort of a set, increasing and decreasing at a certain rate on either side, isn't that right?
Yeah, I've done a variation on it before, because before what I've done with the standard bias, usually what you have is you start with a very small number of stitches, and you increase on one side and you decrease on the other side, but there's more increases than there are decreases, so the whole thing slants in one direction, but it still keeps like getting bigger as you move along. It's slightly different with this one, because while it's still increasing along every row, the decreases happen in steps, because you probably got it there, so that it kind of creates the other side of it, you end up with these little kind of waved steps, because all of the decreases happen on rows, not in every row, but just in steps as you go along.
The little kind of detail there.
But that creates a vortex where it curves around like that. And also the stitch pattern itself is designed to be, it's in modular, so that it basically, you can repeat it as many times as you want, and you can use the same set of instructions, which means that if you want to make the shawl bigger, you can take the same thing and you just keep repeating the instructions. The only thing that'll change is you'll end up with more stitches, but the actual directions will work for doing extra repeats and things like that. Because particularly when you're doing something from side to side like that, and if you've got enough extra yarn and you want a bigger one, it means you can kind of keep going, and the directions are still true to it.
It's a lovely generous size anyway already, because it's very hard to represent on this size of screen. Yeah. But definitely you can see from the images and stuff, when it's just wrapped around once, it's got a really nice long drape down one side. And then the picot edge at the end is really nice too. So that uses up a fair bit of yarn. So recommending to people if they are going to go bigger or wider, that just to allow enough.
Leave enough.
Well,
yeah. Probably, I'd say that you almost need about 3 times the standard bind off, really, because you're casting on 3 stitches before you bind off, so it's almost like you're tripling the number of stitches on the edge. So lots of yarn.
Absolutely loads. Yes. So with the in the pattern is written, it's taking 5 skeins, isn't that right?
And the thing is, it tips over from 4 skeins, particularly if you do a swatch. But you've probably got enough, I'd say, if you want bigger, to perhaps try an extra repeat. But don't blame me if you yarn.
Say nothing. She's making no promises. Allowances per gauge are there.
Doing a Facebook Live is a lot more fun with 2 people than trying to do it by yourself.
It is though, isn't it? Because you can kind of keep track. Now, I feel like maybe we're ignoring people, but a lot of people are just waving down the bottom. But it is. It's a nice way of kind of keeping the conversation going.
Well, you're having a conversation rather than talking with yourself into the screen.
Into the screen. Exactly. Yeah. Well, we were hoping that some people might ask a few questions as well. Anyway, so if you do, I'll keep an eye down the bottom, and I'll read out what they are so that they can. Anybody who misses them knows what we're talking about.
I should get you to introduce the actual the name of it, Bealtaine, because it was your pick, and I think it's a very appropriate.
And actually how to pronounce it, because a lot of people maybe would have seen it written out and kind of going Bealtaine So Bealtaine is an Irish word, the Irish word for the month of May, and we were tossing around a few ideas and we weren't quite sure about because the colours were beautiful and the images were taken down at the waterside, the beach near us here. So we were talking about different variations of seaweed names, which are very exotic. But I think I wanted to, because it's the official Woollinn Shawl, that we would have a tie-in to Woollinn, and Bealtaine just seemed to work. Now I know it's the other end of May, but it's still in May. So that's where it all came from. And it was great because I just fired it over. You just went, yes, that's the name. Great.
I'm to picking pattern names like that, because usually I will work around it. I'll have this is what it makes me think of, and that's where I start. And then I'll say that to Joe, and Joe loves picking names, so he'll just keep firing names at me to go, that's the one. So it was kind of the same method, really.
Same process. Over WhatsApp. Yeah. So Jenny does that to me as well sometimes, because it's a job I don't envy any hand dyer, is trying to come up with unique names for all of those colours. Much prettier sounding than May.
Yes, it is. Hey Jen, you must have heard us talking about you there.
Oh, ears were burning, so they were. You're supposed to be dyeing yarn. Go away. So we were just
with the bigger amount of names. Usually, I'll end up picking a theme. So, for when I was the Short Row Knits book, I ended up we picked rivers in Costa Rica, and then we just picked ones we like the sound of and worked through like that. Because when you've got 20 names to pick at one time, you kind of have to go with the theme, or otherwise you don't have a hope,
Yeah, oh god, yeah. And that's really nice. I've heard of people where they go onto Google Maps and just zoom in randomly to place names so you can pick up different things. But we have a good resource in the Irish language there as well, being able to
I know.
Just a little bit more exotic
because I've done it with other languages where you pick what it sounds like, and then go, what does it sound like in Latin, what's in Italian, what's in French, and then finding one, and not necessarily using the word in that other language, but just kind of changing it enough that it sounds like it,
changing the spelling and stuff, and just making it something really unique then. So,
exactly.
There are ways and means, aren't there? Yes.
Yep. It would also explain why I can never remember my pattern names.
Do you know what this one is?
Yes, I do. That's Carpino. Nice. It looks really nice on you. I had to stop for a second because I'm getting close to 300 patterns, and particularly ones that are published in magazines and things like that, because often they name them, I just can't remember them. I'll have someone come up and say, "Oh, I love such and such," and I'm just blank. I'm like,
design submission number 169 or that one. Off subject, sorry, someone has just commented there. G Bethel is the name. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. Speaking of pronunciation, but they're asking about what sweater I'm wearing. So we just mentioned it's Carpino, which was published with Brooklyn Tweed, and this was the project that I brought to Edinburgh Yarn Festival last year. 2017. And speaking of having easy designs to knit while you're talking to people, I got to shuttle there because it's top-down knit, but was knitting on it during the Cayley, and got on the plane on the way home the next day and realised that it was all entirely wrong. Yeah.
Oh, you're welcome for the pronunciation. Yeah, it's a hard one. You wouldn't know what it's like without having it spoken. It's I actually think for shows and for things like that having something that has got a nice repeat, that it's easy to see what you're supposed to be doing is really invaluable.
It's sort of intuitive. Yeah, that's good. And neatly fits inside the program as well. So it's the charts. I was afraid of massive charts that wouldn't get
I know I wouldn't do that to you.
So it all works out really well. And do you want to? Well, actually, I'm going to remind people that Carol, if you have questions that you want to put to her in person, if you're coming along to Woollinn, that Carol's part of the Yarn in Ireland panel that is happening on Saturday at 11 o'clock at the venue, and you can register to attend that any time from now. You just go onto the box office and pop your name in. So it's free to attend.
There's no cost for it though. It's free, isn't it?
There's no cost. Yeah. No. We just want to get an idea of numbers, make sure we have enough chairs, and then the other thing that, if we have a quick moment to talk about, is that you are releasing another new book. Down the line, I'm going to sneak that in there. Do you want to just tell us quickly a little bit about Echoes, Heather and Stone?
Yeah, I'm working on a book, and it's reaching the point now where I'm working through. We've got the photography done, and we're working through the technical editing, and it's a really different venture for me because this is the very first time that I've done a book with other people's designs. So it's all done in Ewa yarn, and the inspiration for it was Ancient Ireland. In fact, originally the working title we had going all the way through was Ancient Irish Knits. So there'd be kind of sections. There's some really nice essays that Nadia, our cottage notebook, I'm sure she's up there, will give us a wave, has written for me, and combined in with each of the designers. I kind of wrote either a couple of paragraphs or sometimes a couple of pages talking about what inspired them about ancient Ireland for the knits. And the people we've got, there's 8 of us all together, and I'll drop a few of the names, but I won't give away all of them yet. We'll have a few of them are going to actually be at the festival. There'll be Isabella Kramer has got a design in there. Willie Wormhead has a design in there. Justina has got a design in there, and I think they're all going to be at the show. And is Lucy Haig at the show?
No, she's not one of the guests this year. No, we'll work on her.
Yeah, Lucy Haig has done an absolutely fascinating design in it. It's like I'm actually getting ready to go knit it myself because I want to know how it all fits together. It's really
incredible. I've had a sneak peek at this because there's an extract from or a brief introduction to the book in the show program as well. I was wondering what the LOL. Sorry, somebody had to put across a lot of little LOLs, and I was going to super funny, and they said no, they hit the wrong button. Thanks for clarifying. And so I had a preview of some of the patterns, and they really are spectacular. But Lucy Haig's one is just you'd be blown away looking at it. And I would love to know how it all. And
anyone who's coming along, the brochure, there's kind of going to be a little sneak peek in the brochure. So as well as getting the Bealtaine pattern, you're going to get a little insight and a few photographs of the patterns. And I'll have all of the designs on the stand, so you can come along and take a look if you're at the festival.
Oh, so I'll get to come and have a feel and like swan around in Lucy's. Okay, great. I like that. So I don't know. Was there anything else we need to talk about? You're coming to the evening event, aren't you, Carol? Yeah. You're going to be partying with us. That's great.
I will. I'll see how much stamina I've got. Fortunately, it's a 2-day event rather than 3 days, so I'm hoping we'll have more stamina. Because the last one over in Edinburgh, it was longer, and also it was so cold. I ran out.
Oh, because it was snowing and everything. No, I can't. It won't snow. You know that.
I'm not a really good person with cold weather, so I just wanted to get back to bed. But I suspect it's the end of May. I should be ready for a party. Yeah.
We should be okay. And also because it's on Saturday evening, so it's after the marketplace is closed and you'll be all done and you can relax and give us a song as well. Have you thought about your karaoke?
No, No, I will not be doing any karaoke. You do not want to hear me singing. There is enough alcohol to make me do that.
No, not in the world, no. We might test that theory. Okay, well then, thank you everybody for joining us today. As I said, we're going to be popping up the video afterwards on YouTube if you missed any. It'll be available for 24 hours as well on our Instagram profile. We have been talking about Bealtaine, which we should tell you is, or kits are available on both Carol's website, which is stolenstitches.com, and on the This Is Knit website, which is thisisknit.ie. And they are available only for pickup at the show. So it's a Woollinn exclusive. You can pre-order, you then collect from the stand of the website that you ordered from, and it'll remain exclusive until after the shows. Is that correct? Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And
then if happens to be some left, we'll put them up on our websites, but there's no guarantees.
Exactly. So get your name down if you want your own official Woollinn Shawl, which is called Bealtaine. With thanks so much to Carol Feller for design, for Joy Walsh for knitting, and Nadia for taking really beautiful images. It's
and
very
Lisa for modelling.
me for modelling. No.
Yes.
So I did for the easy part. Yeah, mind you, it was quite cold. The images looked lovely and kind of sunny, and it was a gorgeous sunset, but it was still Ireland.
Yeah, I've managed to let myself go. I've gotten a cold several times from modelling in very cold weather.
Yeah.
Is the yarn soft? Yes, very soft. It's in my yarn Nua, and it's 60% merino, 20% yak, which is really soft, very similar to cashmere, that kind of really, really soft quality. And then the final 20% is linen, which gives it a kind of a tweedy effect. Or is there's a little more structure than most, simply because it's non-superwash, so that it's got a good bit more bounce to it, and it's not coated. So it's obviously not as structured as a very durable wool yarn, but it's as yarns go, it's somewhere in the middle, you know.
No, it's got the tweedy effect. I'm trying to see if you can get it up close.
Yeah.
But on the edge there is nice. You can see the little flecks of linen through there. And I remember just before the yarn came out, you sent me one skein, actually probably in a similar colour to this, and I just did this tiny little cowl thing out of it, and I like really enjoyed knitting with it. And I know, look, there's so many yarns in the world and there's so many beautiful things, but it's a surprising thing when, like, I wasn't sure what to expect. I hadn't knit with a linen and yak blender, you know, those are sort of slightly more unusual things to find blended, and just really enjoyed it and kind of couldn't stop telling people.
It has, like most, generally, I think because it looks like a tweed, a lot of people are quite surprised when they pick up and it's like, oh, it's soft. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, so you have to stop, have a feel and have a look at all of the gorgeous samples that are coming up in Echoes of Heather and Stone, which you're hoping to release late August, isn't that right?
It'll be late August it'll come out. Assuming everything runs smoothly, but I think we're on track at this point, so it should be good.
Now you're on video saying that.
I know. You have to be held to it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's a firm deadline now. Okay, so we're gonna head on off. It is very lovely and squishy. So Joy, our sample knitter, now is chiming in on the Nua reviews. So yeah, no, it's a big favorite in the shop. And wasn't it one of the most popular new yarn on Ravelry last year?
Yes, I think independent one, as in like, I know that it was very specific what it was, but it was the most popular in its categories.
Yeah. Well, no, don't minimize to say independent yarns. Like, how many independent, yarns were released last year? It's just it's a big developing area, and
Well, yeah. No, I was very excited to see that.
All those Ravelry members, they're not wrong. They're not wrong. Okay, it's been lovely talking to you, Carol, and to everybody else. We're less than 4 weeks until Woollinn. We're going to try and keep checking in with you once a week. Until then, the videos might get shorter. Might get more stressed looking, and we'll have lots more to announce, to talk about, and we'll hope you'll join us then. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.